you some guidance on how to solve Program 5a. Before beginning, let me say that the thing I'm introducing you to is the notion that when you write a program, the program is probably going to be divided into components or modules, and your job will be to use modules that are provided by other folk and to develop some of your own. So some of the complexity that you see is to get that lesson through. But the benefit of this approach is that when there's a big program to write, you need not write the whole thing. And secondly, you need not think of writing the whole program as one task. Instead, you can look at the different pieces you need and write each piece one at a time. Okay? Now, you will find a couple things in your repository. I need you to just learn how to use this dang thing. If you go in there and look, say OP status PROG5, you will see that I have some guidance given in the repository. I will be referring to that as I go through the video, but you can have a copy of this. It's in the repository. So let's take a look at what our script is about. I'm going to show you how to develop this program through a series of 6 or 7 steps. We will begin by saying, if you have a menu-driven program, what is the structure, or what's the architecture of it? I've tried to emphasize that the structure of a menu-driven program has 3 standard components. So if I say OP status menu, what do I see? I see a program called menu-driven. Let's take a look at it. OPMView menu CPP. And here's a sample of a menu-driven program. What do we see? We see 3 components. One component is the main. One component performs the menu choices, and one component presents the menu choices and reads a choice. The main program typically is a do-while loop, where you repeatedly get a choice, perform the choice until the user says stop. However you say stop for the menu. All right. So if you look at starter Carlot, it basically has these 3 components. They're much bigger, but it's still the same 3 components. All right. So what I have provided for you are a series. What our goal here is really to write a whole program that handles only the view menu choices. It does not do the other stuff. What we're going to do after we have that program working, we basically are going to copy and paste most of the code into starter carlot3.cpp. But we want to independently make sure we can get all the new functionality completed without disturbing the old. So let's look at the template we're going to be using, and it's going to be A. Let's take a look. If I say OP status, we're going to have a series of files called view main. They will be prefixed by a letter to show you how far we are in the process. So A view main is the starting point. So we say OP status view main CPP, and we see all of these 3 different versions. All right. Now let's look at the first one. Where is it? Yes, this is it. All right. So what do we have? We have the 3 components. We have a stub for view menu choice. The name of this function is going to be view menu choice. We have a main program that, as this loop, is going to say view the choice and perform the choice. And notice that this is going to contain the same variables you had in starter Carlot. So we're keeping the same variables. Okay, this can't be true. Okay. And finally, this is messing up, we have the perform choice. Notice that I have what I call a stub again. A stub is just a skeleton without details. So I have accounted for all the three choices. You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and X. Those are the choices that we account for. So we have most of the components done. As we go through our progression, we're going to add more substance to this as we go. So let's go back to where we were. We're on step 2 now. We have the first draft. Notice also that we have retained all of the includes that we had before. So we still have the same #include files. Because eventually in our small program, we're going to make all the calls we would have made from the larger program. All right. And the last thing we're going to show is that our perform menu choice, for right now, we're saying that function is going to be passed only one thing, the choice that the user entered. And we will also see that in the call here, we're only passing one thing. If you look at start a car lot, you will see that when I call the perform thing, I pass multiple things. We will go through a step where we decide what things need to be passed. We're not there yet. Okay, and finally, what we have here, we ought to be able to compile it. So if we just say, let's compile what we have here, -C simply says, I'm not trying to build an executable yet. I just want to make sure that syntactically it will work. I can say a view.cpp. When this compiles, it produces a file for you. And it produces the .o file, the object file. Okay? Now, so with that, let's get out of this and we will end the first video. In the next video, we are going to make some changes as we begin to add body to what we have. So video